By the end of this video, you're going to understand how to use sub-5s. Sub-5s are substitutions, tritone substitutions for the secondary dominant. So if you don't have secondary dominance on lockdown, you're going to feel pretty lost. So make sure you watch this video and then that video. And then you'll be ready to absorb this and get your twinkle together. So what we talked about in the last video is adding chord glue using secondary dominants. But now I'm going to use this trick that I can do to get a different sound instead of those secondary dominants. Let's break down what sub-5s really are. Let's take a look at the primary dominant in the key of C. Here's G7. Its third and flatted seventh creates a tritone. Flat 7 is F, third is B. Now here's an interesting phenomenon. I can play these notes and replace the root with a root that's a tritone away while keeping these two voices. What will happen is that they will invert but maintain the same functions, meaning F, that was the flat 7 of G, is now the third of D flat, and B, that was the third of G, is now the flat 7 of D flat. They are the same, they just switched their roles. And this allows me to use tritone substitutions, or sub-5s. Now, the easiest way to locate your sub-5s is just think about your 6 diatonic chords that dominant chords can move to, meaning 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4, 5, and 6 minor, and realizing that those chords are just a half step above them, meaning they resolve down a half step. So D flat 7 is sub-5 of 1. E flat 7 is sub-5 of 2 minor, going to D minor. F7 is sub-5 of 3, moving to E minor. G flat 7 is sub-5 of 4, moving to F major. A flat 7 is sub-5 of 5, moving to G. And B flat 7 is sub-5 of 6, moving to A minor. Now, here's something that is going to be a bitch to understand in the beginning. The mode that goes with every single one of them is Lydian dominant. So for sub-5 of 1, it's D flat Lydian dominant, meaning 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7, starting from D flat. E flat going to the 2 minor is E flat Lydian dominant. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7. You need to know this because if you are reharmonizing a melody, you can only use sub-5s if your melody note is a part of that mode. Now that's going to be complicated for some of you to internalize, but just keep it in the back of your mind as we move through the material. So let's go back to Twinkle Twinkle. So we said we can have this progression, C, going to E minor for the first 4 melody notes. And we also said, if it goes to E minor, what I can do is I can use the 5 of that E minor, which is B7, to lead me there, to foreshadow. So C, B7 flat 9, leading to E minor. But I can use the tritone sub of that B7 flat 9, which is just F7. Now listen to that sound. So that's a cool sound. That's sort of a gateway into F Lydian dominant. Pretty cool. All right. Now, it doesn't have to go to E minor. It can go to A minor. I can reharmonize it a different way. 1, 6 minor. Now, the sound that leads to the 6 minor is E7 flat 13, we said. But I can use the tritone sub of that E7 flat 13, which is B flat 7. The 9 of that B flat, that becomes the melody note, which is inside B flat Lydian dominant. Now I have this sound, which is one of my favorite sounds. Okay, cool. So now let's take a look at moving into that subdominant part of Twinkle Twinkle when we get to the F major. Right here. When I'm leading to F using this melodic minor approach, meaning the sub-5 approach coming from Lydian dominant, I'm not going to be able to use G-flat Lydian dominant because G is not a part of it. The flat 9 is not a part of that sound. It has a natural 9. But what I can do is instead of F, go to D minor, to my 2 minor chord. We said that's just a simple diatonic substitution. And now I can play the sub-5 of that D minor, meaning E flat 7 with G in the melody. Now let's hear that in time. That's pretty cool. Here's another place where I can use sub-5 of 1, the second half of that melody. D minor, D flat 7. So I used 2, sub-5 of 1, 1, 5 of 5, 2, 5, 1. Lydian dominant comes from melodic minor. It's the 4th mode of melodic minor. A more advanced version of this concept is understanding that that moment you enter a Lydian dominant sound, you are now temporarily in a parallel melodic minor key. So let's just take a look at the second melody note harmonized against a B flat 9. Just freeze that moment in time. That leads me to this A minor sound. But there are actually 7 chords inside that B flat Lydian dominant. That B flat Lydian dominant comes from F melodic minor. And F melodic minor, just like C major, has 7 modes in it. So I can use F minor major 7 there. That's a cool sound, but here's another cool sound. The second mode in F melodic minor is G Dorian flat 9, which you can also call G Phrygian natural 6. So it's just like a Dorian chord, G minor, but it has a flat 9 in it, which we're going to use right here. Ooh. 1, flat 7, flat 9. 1, flat 7, flat 9, 4. Now check out this sound. How interesting is that? Or pretty cool. The third chord is the spacey one, A flat major 7 sharp 5. Right? How about this? Next, I have C7, but the one coming from F melodic minor, meaning C7 with a flat 13. Kind of like an augmented sound. Next one is D half diminished. Whoa. And finally, I have E altered. So I just used that melody note with all the 7 possible tonalities that exist inside F melodic minor. So here's your homework. Learn a few uses of those sub-5 chords inside this melody. Next episode, we're going to learn all about how to use modal interchange, which gives you sounds like this. If you dig this, please join our Patreon where we have tabs, transcriptions, all that stuff. Also, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.